Hi, it's Lauren from the SewVintage team, and I'm going to teach you how to do our DIY kits. So in the kit, you will be given a plain t-shirt, a embroidery hoop, and some thread and a needle. So basically, your first step is to get your t-shirt and to draw whatever design you want on it. I'm just using a pen, but a pencil works quite well because it'll wash off. But if you're super sure that you're going to go straight over the pen, then the pen, you won't be able to see it. You can also buy like chalk or something like that, but whatever's going to work for you. Decide what you want to do on your shirt and then just sketch that on is your first step. So just keep it plain and simple. I'm just going to do a love heart in the corner of my t-shirt. You can see I've just got my pen. And this is quite a large shirt, so I'm going to make sure that I'm trying to keep it quite proportional. Awesome. So now that I've got this, I'm going to choose my thread and I'm going to do a green love heart. So in your kit, you will get 3 bits of thread. So get your thread, pull it out honestly as much as you want. You might have to use more, but I'm just going to go for quite a lot so I don't have to use more. I have scissors, so I'm just using a knife. So you cut your thread, quite a large amount of thread because you'll be surprised at how much you do end up using. I don't know if you can see that there, but there's a lot of little, it's like 5 or 6 little bits of thread in your embroidery thread. And so you want to just pull apart 2 or 3 of them, depending on how thick you want your embroidery to be, and then just kind of untwist that. And that's just because it just works a lot easier. When you use a bigger thread, it's going to make a bigger hole in your t-shirt. And yeah, that can sometimes become visible. So it's just best to use smaller thread. Yeah. Perfect. So now I've got my thread and I'm at my needle and just thread it through. So now that my needle is threaded through, I'm going to start with a little knot on the end of this string. This is what I find is the easiest way to kind of tie off your one to start with. So let's do a little knot. You can double knot it if you like as well. Yep, and that just means that the thread won't be coming through when you're threading it. Yep. So this is our love heart. We're gonna thread. I'm just gonna start at the point of the love heart there. So I'm threading from behind up all the way until it hits that knot that we did. As you can see there, the knot stopping it. Okay, and then you just choose whatever direction you want to go. So I'm gonna go this way and just follow that line. Do fairly small but not too tiny. It really depends, it's up to you. If it's curved, you definitely want to be a bit smaller, but if it is a straight part, you can kind of go a little bit bigger with it. So what I've done there is I've gone up and out, and then with this one, I'm going to start up. You see that first little thread that I've done there? That was our first thread. We started from behind, then we just went back down. So now we're back out the back. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start from the back. So the thread of my needle is out the back here, which means we have to put the thread back out to the front. You can kind of still see the line. I'm still very good on the camera, but you'll be able to see the line still. So what you're going to do is instead of starting here, you're going to start a little bit further up with your line. So I'm going to poke my hole about here, push it through, so to come out this end. Okay, and the thread is there, and there's nothing, and then this is this. So then what we do is we push it back down to that first thread, and we're going to see this tiny little gap between those two. Excuse my nails. So, and then you just kind of continue that all the way around. We're going to go further back, we're going to go forward, and then we're going to go further back, and then we're going to go forward. Awesome. So now we're done. I'm almost done. As you can see, the green has gone all the way around here. what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cover up those gaps. So this is the way that I've learned and it's really effective. So you're going to come back up about midway through just any stitch, probably the stitch that you're like done at. You're going to come up through the middle of that stitch, not through the stitch, but through like underneath, from underneath that stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to weave. So I'm going to go under the next stitch, pulling not tightly but gently, and then the other way through the next stitch. And I'm going underneath the gap in these stitches that is between the shirt and the thread. Okay, now that I've got to the very end of my shirt, that's the last thread, I'm going to stick it back down. We're going to go into the back, okay? We're going to bring that thread up. Provided that you are meeting with your first thread, a super easy way to do is you literally just tie those two threads into a few double knots and then you cut off all of the excess. There are a few other ways to end your knot on your thread, and that's just super easy to search on YouTube, but that's what I've done there. Done those two double knots and I'm all done really. Then you just remove your hoop and that's what you've got. You've got your final piece. I didn't finish the end of my one just because I have something else I want to use this for. But yeah, I probably could have gone over that a few more times, but that's just your basic how to sew. Thanks guys, have fun creating.